जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and welcome back. Thank you for joining. Today we are discussing verse number 42 and 43 of chapter number 2 from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And in the previous verse, that is verse number 41, Krishna explains that there are two categories of people. The first category of people are Vyavasayatmika Buddhir. So those who are in this path and they are resolute in purpose. So these people are Ekeha Kurunandana. They have one pointed attention. So in any endeavor we are taking up, we have to be focused on the goal. And if we are thinking of hundreds of things while doing one activity, we will not be able to complete that activity successfully. So therefore Krishna also talks about the second category of people. So this second category of people are Bahusakhahi Anantascha Buddhayo Avyasayinam. So these people are Avyasayinaha, people who do not have one-pointed intelligence. People who are not focused on their goals. Their intelligence is many-branched, that is Bahusaka. Or Krishna in particular uses the word Anantascha, means unlimited. So they think simultaneously of hundreds of things and they will not be able to achieve anything because of the distractions or distracted mind. So the conclusion is to achieve any success in anything, whether it is material or spiritual, one have to be focused and be fully concentrated on doing one thing. In verse 42 and 43, there are two verses together. In these two verses, Krishna is discussing about the second category of people, means Bahusakhahi Anantascha, whose intelligence is many-branched or Bahusaka. So why these people are so distracted? That is explained in these two verses. So let's read the Sanskrit of these two verses. So chapter 2, verse number 42 and 43. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadyanti apipaschitaha Vedavadarata partha nanyad astati vadinaha kamatmana swargapara janma karma phala pradhan kriya visesha bahulam bhogashvera gatimpati. So the translation is, men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulence, they say that there is nothing more than this. So let's read try to understand the Sanskrit terms over here. So Srila Prabhupada has combined these two verses together to maintain the flow of thought which is there in this, or which are there in these two verses. So in Vedas it is described in the Karmakanda section that one can go to Swarga. Swarga means heavenly planet, and enjoy. So Krishna also explains this in the previous verse number 37. Now Krishna is saying to Arjuna that don't think of all this. And why he is saying this? Then Krishna is saying that this is because there are the words which is there in the Veda, they are flowery words. Pushpitam vacham. So the first two lines says Yam imam pushpitam vacham. So Yam imam means these words. These words from where? These words from Vedas. So what these words are? Pushpitam vacham. So they are flowery words. And who is attracted by this? So the people who are avipaschitaha, they are attracted by this flowery words. So avipaschita means one who do not have discrimination. Vipaschita on the other side is one who has discriminatory powers. But avipaschita means they cannot discriminate things. They cannot use their intelligence to discriminate things. And what are the characteristics of such people who are like avipaschitaha? So their characteristics, they are Vedavada Rataha. So Vedavada Rataha, and then Krishna is calling Arjuna as Partha. He is addressing as Partha, means Partha is son of Pritha or son of Kunti. So they are Vedavada Rataha. So Krishna is using the Veda first time in the Sanskrit, first time in the entire Bhagavad Gita. So it is said that Vedavada Rata means they are the followers of the Veda, and their understanding is that the Vedas teach what? Na anyad astati vadinaha. They think that there is nothing else taught in the Vedas. So what are this Pushpitam Vacham, or what are this flowery words? That is explained in the next verse. That is Kamatmanaha Swarga Para. So Kamatmana means their Atma is filled with Kama. And then what is Swarga Para? Their desire is Swarga, or they want to go to heavenly planet. So what will they get in Swarga or heavenly planet? Janma Karma Phala Pradhan. They will get auspicious birth in heavenly planet, and they will be able to engage in auspicious activities. How will they get Janma Karma Phala Pradhan? By performing Kriya Vishesha Bahulam. So Kriya over here means big sacrifices. So there are big sacrifices, or sacrifices which are rituals which are given in Karma Kanda section of Veda. And Vishesha, so Vishesha means specialized, and Bahula means very, very opulent. So for elevation to the heavenly planet, they perform all kind of big sacrifices. And what is their goal? So their goal is Bhogaswarya Gatim Prati. So Bhoga and Aishwarya, they are attached to Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga means sense gratification, and Aishwarya means opulence. And Gatim Prati means, Gati means this is their progress. This is considered as their progress. So they want sensual indulgence and financial opulence. So Kamatmana over here indicates that their Atma, or Kama is their Atma, or Atma is filled with Kama. They cannot think anything better than material enjoyment. So Kama means material enjoyment. So because their Atma is filled with Kama, they think that in Swarga I will get more and better enjoyment. So here we see that Krishna is explaining that what is taught in the Vedas itself regarding the Karma Kanda is true. But that is not all in all. But the Vipaschita, Avipaschita, sorry, not Vipaschita, but Avipaschita means somebody who doesn't have discriminatory power. The Avipaschita, being desirous of sense gratification and opulence, which is Bhogashwarya, think that there is nothing more in the Vedas than this. Because their Atma is filled with Kama. Whose Atma is filled with Kama? Avipaschita. And they are looking for Bhoga and Aishwarya. So they approach the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, and they are interested in only performing Karma Kanda section in Vedas. And their understanding is that Veda only consists of this Karma Kanda section. So let's perform all this kind of sacrifices, and then let's get all the opulence. Then that opulence can be used for sense gratification. But Krishna over here is saying actually there is a progression in Vedic literature. Karma Kanda is one level, but beyond this there is Jnana Kanda, and also there is later Upasana Kanda, and there is also Bhakti. Not much Bhakti is explained, but there is some explanation of bhakti is also there. So it's a progression. So the beginning stage is the Karma Kanda section, and that explains, how to perform all the sacrifices. And then when you perform all the sacrifices, when you satisfy all the requirements, then you can go to heavenly planets and you can enjoy the bhoga and aishwarya. Bhoga means you can enjoy material things, sense gratification, and also you can get opulence. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that Upanishad starts talking about the bhakti or transcendence, but Vedas is primarily karma kanda. So Krishna is indirectly telling Arjuna that do not aspire for good material result in this material world, even in the better part of the material world. Why is that? Because they are all temporary in nature. Whatever you will gain, you are going to lose it over the period of time. So do not get indulged in all this. That's why Krishna is speaking about this particular verse. So now let's see what Srila Prabhupada has to talk about this particular verse in the purport. Prabhupada says, people in general attach to fruitive activities. So people in general are not very intelligent, and due to their ignorance, they are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas. So Krishna is calling this as Pushpitam Vacham. Pushpitam Vacham means flowery words. So why Krishna is calling flowery words or comparing this with the flowers? Because flower by nature is very, very attractive, beautiful. They are rich in colors. They are very fragrant. However, the beautiful flowers are very quickly, it gets withered very quickly. So similarly, these attractive words of the Vedas or the results of the attractive words of the Vedas are also is for a very short term. It's very temporary in nature. So these people, they are attracted to these portions of the Vedas because they want to have sense gratification. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in the heaven, where wine and women are available and material opulence is very common. So because of their strong attraction to material sense gratification, then they are attracted by this flowery words of the Vedas. So how to go to the heavenly planet? That is given in the Vedic literatures, even the Karma Kanda. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotistoma sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to heavenly planet must perform these sacrifices, and men with poor fund of knowledge think that this is the whole purpose of Vedic wisdom. So because of their attachment to bhoga and aishwarya, strong attachment for material sense gratification and opulence, their intelligence is covered. So they only think that Veda only has these things. But this is just one portion of the Veda, which is the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. But there is a lot of things to the Vedas, and then they bypass those things. It is very difficult for such inexperienced person to be situated in determined actions of Krishna consciousness. So because their mind is clouded with enjoyment and opulence and enjoyment, then they cannot focus on Krishna consciousness. And the analogy of such or example of such attraction is given here. As fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the result of such attractions, unenlightened men are similarly attracted by such heavenly opulence and the sense enjoyment thereof. So this is the nice example that how some of the trees which are having poisonous flower, but the looks are very good. So just by the looks they go to those trees and try to pluck them, and then they have to suffer the reaction of whatever action they have taken. Now, recommendation in Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, Prabhupada says, in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas it is said, Apama, Somam, Amrita, Abhuma and Akshayam Ha Vai. chaturmasya yajne sukritam bhavati. In other words, those who perform the 4-month penance become eligible to drink Somarasa, beverage to become immortal and happy forever. So in the heavenly planet there is something called as Somarasa. So this is a drink, but it's like an intoxication drink, but there is advantage to drinking this one. When you drink, you become kind of immortal by drinking Somarasa more, and you become happy forever. So these things are given in the Karmakanda section of Vedas. And it said that when somebody performs Chaturmasya, there are 4 months, and when they perform all the recommended rituals and penances during that 4 month, then they become eligible to drink Somarasa, which means they can, after this death, they can go to the heavenly planet and enjoy those Somarasa. Now, why all these things are there? So Prabhupada gives at the end of the section that this is all because all of us have tendency to lord over the material nature. So the purpose of coming all of us to this material world is sense enjoyment, and all of us has this nature that we want to enjoy through our senses. So this is called as lording over material nature. Lording means if you are the owner, proprietor and enjoyer, then you can enjoy some things, right? So that is called as lording. You want to become the boss and enjoy the things. So that tendency is there when the living entity or the soul comes in this material world. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Somarasa to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratification. So sense gratifications, it's just one word, but there are various ways in which people enjoy. So enjoying through our senses is sense gratification. And the examples can be, some of the examples, there are tons of them, but some of the examples can be like eating, eating different kind of food, sleeping, then watching movies, and having or listening to different kind of music, reading all kind of books, indulging in gossip, then sightseeing. But the topmost of all is the union between male and female. This is the topmost kind of sense enjoyment in this material world. So that's why you can see all the advertisements which our billboards have. They show different kinds of women or men in nicely dressed, and they are handsome or beautiful, and by just watching people can get attracted to that and they enjoy. They think that by buying that particular product, I'm going to get this kind of recognition, or I'm going to get this kind of enjoyment. Anyway, such persons have no faith in liberation or material bondage. So they don't want to actually get. They would think that this is what it is. My life is enjoying through the senses. So such people have no faith in liberation or material bondage, from the material bondage. And they are very much attached to this pompous ceremonies of the Vedic sacrifices. So they are generally sensual and they do not want anything other than heavenly pleasures of life. So when they read Vedas or scriptures, they come to know that there is enjoyment in this world in which I am living. But there are more enjoyment in heavenly planets, better kind of enjoyment. So then they get attracted to that. So that's why then they follow all the procedures which are given in the Vedas to go to the heaven to enjoy more. It is understood that there are gardens called as Nandanakanana, in which there are good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women and having profuse supply of Somarasa wine. Right? So these are given in the scriptures. So they get attracted when they read this. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material, temporary happiness as lords of the material world. So they think that this is all in all and I should aspire for this and go to the heavenly planet and then enjoy more. So this is what is discussed in this particular purport, which is talking about that Karmakanda is a less intelligent path. And people with small intelligence who doesn't have discriminatory power and act only for opulence and enjoyment, and therefore they follow and consider only these portions of Vedas that grant material boons, that is Karmakanda portion of the Vedas. So this is what is discussed in the purport, and it is put in this presentation format. You can read when you get chance, and then we can continue the discussion of this particular thought. So here we see that Krishna is comparing the Karma Kanda and the Karma Yoga, because he started from verse number 39 onwards. He started discussing the Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga. So while talking about Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga, he is comparing with what he has spoken prior to that, from verse 30 onwards, 31 to 37, where Krishna talks about Karma Kanda. So that's why in this set of verses Krishna is contrasting Karma Kanda and Karma Yoga, and he is also giving what are the benefits of Karma Yoga over Karma Kanda. So with this we'll stop here, and we'll discuss in the next session verse number 44. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.